My name is Georgia, and this is my story. My father had passed away when I was 3 months old in a car accident, too much to drink. So I have been told, that left my mother Jane and myself George alone, to fend for ourselves. My mother tried as hard as she could, but she was slowly slipping on a downward spiral of depression. Well, back in those days, the 50s that is, you didn't get the help you get now, so our mom was left alone with a baby to bring up and nowhere decent to really live, let alone having enough money to feed us on. We lived in a small one-bedroom flat in a shared house, but it was more like a box room than anything, but my mother struggled on, just about keeping our heads above water, and I mean just. Well, a few weeks passed when our mom's sister Shirley, who she had not seen or heard from in a long while, came onto the scene. It appears that she had retired from active life and was enjoying the peace and quiet of everything, as she said, before I restart my life again. When she found out the predicament we were in, she contacted our mom, her sister, and came down to see us. She was appalled at where we were living and suggested to our mom that since Shirley was unmarried, she used to say that she was still waiting for the right man. Would we like to come and live with her? She owned a large house just outside Portsmouth. The suggestion was that Jane's mother went out to work, and Shirley would look after me. After a lot of talking, they both agreed that would be a really good idea. As for me, the first thing Auntie Shirley said was, "Oh, what a pretty girl you have, you're so lucky, that's something I have always wanted, a pretty girl." Our mom laughs and said, "That's not a girl, that George." Auntie Shirley said, "But he's so pretty to be a boy." So, we moved in. Mom got a full-time job in a clothes store, and I got the sole attention of my Auntie Shirley. Well, what a happy ending, you think. How wrong, so wrong, I think. As time went on, I found myself being dressed in pretty baby frocks, having bows in my hair, and being referred to as Georgia, first by Auntie Shirley and then by my mom, Jane. It just seemed to flow on. They let my hair grow and always told people when they asked or commented on me that this was their baby Georgia. I didn't mind. I didn't know. I was too young to know anything. As I started to grow, I was about 4 or 5, I was wearing dresses, short white socks, frilly knickers, girl shoes, and having my hair plaited or put into pigtails. At one point, I was told they were even going to have my ears pierced. But of course, as I grew up into school age, they couldn't continue pretending I was a girl, so off came the pigtails, but they still left my hair collar length, my frilly knickers became pants, and my dresses became shirts and shorts. Now it appears I was ready to face the prospect of school. As the years passed, I was about 11 and a half then. I started to feel a strange attraction to my auntie's and mother's clothes. I used to love the feel of them, the texture, in fact everything there was about them I loved. I couldn't say what or why, and as I never remembered how they had dressed me, or referred to me when I was a baby, so I just kept quiet about it all. I never had many friends at school as I never seemed to fit in, i.e. I never liked football or any hard boys games, but that was just me, no one really cared, so I was happy. To be honest, I would rather have been playing with the girls in their games, but of course I never said or hinted that. It was about 2 years later, I was 13 and a half and Mom was at work and Aunt Shirley was reading her book. She was an avid book reader, and I was feeling tired that night, so I said to Aunt Shirley, "Is it all right if I go to bed now? I know it's only 8:00 but I'm just so tired." She replied, "Of course, off you go, sweet dreams." And off I went. I was lying in bed starting to snuggle down when I saw a pile of clothes ready to be put away tomorrow. As I lay there, I kept getting this urge to see what was in there. Deep down I knew what I was hoping for, so I quietly got out of bed and went over to the pile. As I looked through the pile, I saw a bra and one of those rubber pull-on girdles with the suspenders on. They felt so soft and nice. Dare I? Should I? I could not resist it. I put the bra on. It had 4 hooks at the back. Then I found some socks and put them into the cups to fill them out like breasts. I got hold of the girdle, pulled and wiggled my way into it so it fitted where it should. The feel of the tightness of both the bra and girdle was exquisite. I could imagine wearing these all the time. My mind was racing. Then I heard the front door. It was Mum coming home. So quickly I took off the bra, rolled down the girdle as that was the only way it would come off, and put them back into the pile. Then I jumped back into bed with my heart still racing. Mum came up about 10 minutes later to make sure I was feeling okay as I had gone to bed very early. I said to her when she asked how I was. I replied, "Yes, I'm fine, Mum, I'm just tired." "Well, you look a bit flushed to me. Have you got a temperature?" I nearly laughed. "No, I'm just tired, Mum, that's all." She said, "Okay, then have a good night," and gave me a kiss on the forehead and went downstairs. I nearly died with excitement and fear. That night I had many different dreams, but none bad. Over the next month I found myself, when I was alone, going through all my mother's and auntie's drawers in their rooms. It was like a drug. The more I saw and felt their clothes, the more I imagined myself wearing them. It was starting to become an obsession, but I never tried anything on from their drawers. I think it was fear of being found out that stopped me. But I did carry on putting on the clothes from the clean washing pile. I felt quite safe doing that, mainly because I would do it after everyone had gone to bed. A week later Mum and Auntie said that they were going shopping. Would I like to come? They would be gone for 4 or 5 hours, but I was not to worry if I didn't want to go, as there was plenty to watch on the telly. "As you might have guessed," I said, "thank you anyway, but I would like to watch the cricket." "That's fine," they said. "You know where the cupboard is if you get hungry. We will see you later then, bye." I let them go for a good hour before I went upstairs, just in case they had forgotten something and came back. I went upstairs to the bedrooms and I didn't know what to do first, so I took a deep breath and opened one of the drawers. It contained panties and bras. I took out the ones which matched and put them on, again filling out the cups with socks. Then I slid the panties on, hiding my extra bits below. That felt and looked good. It seemed I had nothing there. Next came the rubber girdle. Again I pulled and wiggled it about until it fitted right. My next attempt was a pair of stockings which I had seen my mum put on, so I rolled them up, slipped my foot in and gently rolled them up my legs and attached them to the suspenders. The feel of them on my legs, the pull of the stockings on the suspenders, the noise and feel as they rubbed on my legs was intense. The tightness of my bra making me feel its restrictions as I breathed. I think I almost fainted. I carried on looking and found a frilly white petticoat which I slipped over my head and pulled down, encasing my bra and girdle, giving them a smooth appearance. Walking to the wardrobe was a thrill, with my nylons rubbing together and my petticoat ruffling as I walked. I opened the door to be confronted with an array of dresses, skirts, blouses. I picked up a midi-length dark blue midi-length skirt and a gold long-sleeve blouse with a ruffled neckline and ruffled wrists. I put them on and just started swinging around the room. It all felt so good. I found and slipped on a pair of high-heeled shoes which made me feel even more like a girl, as I could only take short steps with them on without falling over. I looked at my watch. Still 3 hours to go. I went to the dressing table and found the makeup and had to go as I had seen Mum and Auntie to so often. It was not as easy as I thought. In the end I looked more like a clown than anything else, so off it same. I brushed my hair so it was long and loose and tied a blue ribbon in it to keep it together. For the next hour, I pranced around the house looking in all the mirrors at myself, thinking that I would make a lovely girl. Again, I looked at my watch, a good hour left, so I had plenty of time to change back into my ordinary clothes and put back everything as it was, all folded up nice and neat. No one will ever know, I thought. This happened on several occasions. On each occasion I did the same, but in between I read, in secret, all about how to put makeup on, what colors went with what. I felt I was becoming a bit of an expert on all of this, and I was enjoying reading about it all. Sometimes if time was short I would not dress up but just try to do my makeup and hair. I was getting quite good at this in the end. Well, needless to say, it was about a month or so later that Mom and Auntie Shirley decided to go out for the day again. I must admit that I couldn't wait for them to go, bad as that sounds. As soon as they had left, I waited my usual half an hour and then went upstairs to the bedrooms. I opened the drawer to find a new purple and black basque with suspenders and matching panties. Well, who could resist that? After a struggle getting it on and fastening the tapes at the back so they pulled my waist in a lot tighter, I slipped on the matching panties, and remembering what I had read, I slipped the suspenders under my panties. Then with great relish I found a pair of black seamed stockings, which again I put on very carefully so that I did not ladder them. That would have taken some explaining. As I attached them to the suspenders, I could feel that pull on them. The feeling made me shiver. I went to another drawer where I found a long black petticoat with frills around the top and bottom. I soon slipped that on over my head and shivered as it slid down my body. Next was a dark blue skirt which came just above my knees and a light blue frilly blouse which was buttoned up at the back. It had 3/4 puffy sleeves tightening just below my elbow and wrist. I followed this with a pair of light blue high heels. Talk about cock of the walk, I felt the feminine equivalent. Next I went to the dressing table, putting into motion what I had learned and tried out from the magazines. I applied my makeup, first some foundation then some powder sealer to lock it on, some blue mascara to match my dress, and my liner shaped into an upward tail at the ends, brown eyebrow pencil to shape my eyebrows and to give them a slight downward ink in the middle so they were almost an inverted V-shaped, a small amount of blusher to show my cheekbones off, then some light red lipstick with sealer applied over the top. By now I was so carried away I wasn't thinking straight. I applied some perfume and gold earrings, then a gold chain necklace with a drop pearl in the center. I did my hair by back combing it up and spraying hairspray on it, making it look all fluffed out with a curled fringe. I was ecstatic to see how I looked in the mirror. If anybody did not know me they would never recognize me as a boy, only as a girl. I was grinning ear to ear and almost dancing around the room. Then when out of the corner of your eye, you notice something that is different to what it should be. With a very slow motion turn of my head I looked around. To my absolute horror, there was my mother and Auntie Shirley watching me and smiling. How long they had been there I don't know. I was panic-stricken. What was I to do or say? So, I did the only thing I knew what to do by instinct, start crying, begging for forgiveness, saying that it was the first time I had done this, and I would never do it again, as I slowly collapsed to the floor, tears and mascara streaming down my eyes. Both Mom and Auntie Shirley came over to me and crouched down beside me. Speaking quietly they said, "Georgia, don't cry, we know you have been dressing up for a long time now. Don't worry, we both love you as a girl, we always have since you were a baby." Then they told me what they used to do with me when I was a baby, dressing me up as a girl and pretending to everyone that I was. They were both hugging me. I felt as if I was in a cocoon. Mom gave me some tissues and told me to dry my eyes and to wipe the mascara away from them as it was spoiling my makeup. I did as she said, not knowing what was going on. I thought they would be mad, be furious, or something. Not this though. I was totally confused. They slowly picked me up and took me downstairs to the lounge, where they sat me down with me still clutching my tissues like a drowning man clings to a lifeboat. Mom went out in the kitchen to make us all a cup of tea. Auntie Shirley said to me, "We know you've been dressing for ages now. I am very fussy how I fold my clothes and where they go. When I noticed that not only were not folded as I do them, and they weren't in the right place where I keep them, I guessed that it was you playing dress up with them. But you started to wear more and more, and then I noticed my makeup was moved, so I sat down with your mother and we discussed what to do, or what to say to you about it. We thought the best thing to do was to give you time to dress properly a few times, then pretend to go out all day, but come back a lot earlier to make sure it was you, and to see how far you were willing to go. I deliberately left that purple basque out on top to see if you liked wearing it. As we know now, you like wearing all girls' clothes, from panties to high heels, but there is no shame in that at all, Georgia." Mom came in with a cup of tea for us then. She was still smiling. She looked at me and said, "Georgia, you make a beautiful girl. I must admit that I have always wanted a daughter, and though it sounds silly, I'm so pleased you like dressing as a girl, it makes me feel as if I have one now. I sat there not knowing what to say or do. I mean, there's being shocked, and boy was I shocked. I mean, they didn't mind, or even seemed to want to encourage me to dress as a girl. I was still in shock when they asked me, "Do you like just dressing up as a girl now and then, or do you really want to become a girl full time?" I did not know what to say. Then all of a sudden it all started to spill out. I started mumbling, "I like wearing girls' clothes, all of them. It make me feel really comfortable when I do. I feel so different. I feel as if I was supposed to be wearing them. I just love dressing and pretending to be a girl." Mom looked at Aunt Shirley and said, "Shirley, you know we were thinking of going away on holiday later this year. Well, I have an idea. Come outside in the kitchen a moment and let me put it to you." "Georgia, would you stay in here for the moment while I speak to Shirley?" "We won't be long," I replied. "Yes, Mum." "Oh, and one more thing," she said, "when you're dressed as a girl, would you mind calling me Mummy?" I said, "Yes, Mummy." And a happy grin spread across her face. They had been in the kitchen about 20 minutes before they came out. I was still sitting at the table. They sat down and Aunt Shirley spoke. "Now, Georgia, your mom and I have been discussing this, and we have agreed on a solution, but it will be up to you to either say yes or no. Is that clear?" I nodded my head and said, "Yes, Auntie." "This is what we have decided," she said. "We were going on holiday for 3 weeks later on this year in October, but we have decided to change it from October to July, which is just over a week away. You will be on school holidays, so all of that will be taken care of. Now this is what we propose. We will all go away for the 3 weeks, but you will come as Georgia. By that I mean you will be Georgia the whole time, day and night. In fact, you will become a full-time girl. No trousers, just skirts and dresses. No pants, just panties, and of course a bra which you will wear all the time like a real girl would. There will be no boys' things in any way coming with us. Do you understand, Georgia?" I thought about it for a minute or two and then said, "Yes, I would love to do that. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Mummy." Auntie Shirley said, "Right, if you're sure, we are going to have to make you a bit more like a girl. So tomorrow we will go down the town and you will get your ears pierced, maybe 2 in each ear, I think. Then it will go to the hairdresser to get your hair styled into a girl's style. Then last of we will get you a proper manicure and pedicure and have your nails painted. Whilst that is being done, your mother and I will go out shopping for you, to get your new clothes and everything a girl needs. All right, Georgia." I could only nod and smile and again say, "Thank you," to them both again. We had supper that night with me still dressed as Georgia. Afterwards I had a nice smelly bath that Mummy prepared for me and was given a long nightdress and matching panties to wear to bed. That night I slept like I had never slept before. I was so relaxed, and the smell of the bathwater and feel of the nightdress and panties were overwhelming. The next morning, I was awoken by Auntie shouting to me, "Come on, lazy bones, we have a lot to do today." I was told to wear a pair of panties, and a matching padded bra which Mummy found, a dress, no tights or stockings as I was having my feet seen to, and a pair of small wedge sandals. They found a lady's coat I could wear as well, in case it got chilly. I was terrified at first, but both Mummy and Auntie calmed me down, saying, "Look, Georgia, you don't even look like a boy, you look like a girl, so don't worry, we will be with you all the time, okay?" She produced a bottle of pills out of her bag. I didn't see what they were, and undoing the caps said, "Take 2 of these, they will calm you down." When we returned home that following evening, my hair was cut and styled like a girl's, my ears had been pierced and I had 2 gold studs in each ear, my fingernails and toenails had been shaped and were now a dark pink. After we had a rest, Auntie said in a stern tone of voice, "Before we have a fashion show there is something that I have got to do to you before anything, and I'm afraid you're not going to like it, but it must be done." I started to worry what it was, then she smiled and said, "I am going to pluck you eyebrows. It might hurt at first, but you will soon get used to doing it by yourself, because girls don't have shaggy eyebrows." By the time Auntie had finished, I had a pair of beautifully shaped eyebrows I had ever seen. There was no way now that I could be mistaken for a boy. I looked face-wise a true girl. After a truly painful time with my eyebrows, Auntie and Mummy brought out what they had bought me. I was overcome. I had dresses, skirts, blouses, petticoats, stockings, and tights. I had 4 matching padded bra and panties sets. I even had a swimsuit. I had 3 pair of shoes with various high heels and color to match my dresses and skirts. And as for makeup, there was too much to name. I had creams, lotions, potions, everything a girl could want. I had long and short night dresses with matching robes. I was excited as you would never believe. Then I came across something I didn't expect, a box of sanitary towels. Mummy explained that if I wanted to be a girl, then I should get used to wearing sanitary towels 1 week in 3 as most girls have to. She said that she would mark on the calendar when I should be on, and on those days, I would have to wear the sanitary towels day and night. I said, "Okay, Mummy, if that's what girls have to do, then so shall I." By the time we left for our holiday, George was no more. His place had been taken by Georgia. I was so excited. I was a real girl in almost every way. Auntie Shirley kept giving me these pills, 2 a day. She kept saying it was to keep me calm, but I just had this feeling, but I kept on taking them. On holiday, it was great. I dressed and acted like myself, like a normal girl. I found the face creams I was using day and night was giving my complexion a very soft appearance. It was becoming more and more obvious that my appearance was slowly changing to that of a girl. Even my breasts were showing signs of getting slightly larger and a lot more tender. But I will admit it again, I was loving the experience of it all, even down to wearing my sanitary towels. I was still taking my 2 pills a day and using my creams day and night. It was becoming a matter of routine. It even got to the point one day when I saw some boys eyeing me up. I felt so flattered, I even blushed. That didn't go unnoticed by my mummy. She said, "There now even the boys are eyeing you up just like if you were a full girl." At the end of our holiday, I was so sorry we had to go home. Mainly it meant I would have to go back to being a boy, and I hated that thought. Also, my face was becoming smoother and less pronounced, my breasts were becoming like small titties and were very tender, and most of all I was feeling really relaxed and good about myself, something I always had trouble with. On the morning we were going to leave, we all sat down in my room, that was Auntie, Mummy and me, and we started talking about what had happened to me in these 3 weeks. I told them honestly that I did not want to go back to being a boy and that I loved being a girl, sanitary towels and all. They looked really pleased. Auntie Shirley said she had a confession to make to me. She told me that the pills and cream I had been using was in fact hormone cream. I then understood what was happening to me. She told me that she was sorry she did not tell me, but she was afraid to. I smiled at her and said, "Auntie, that was the best thing you could have done for me. It made me realize who I really was." They both smiled, then said, "We have another question for you, Georgia." I replied, "Yes, what do you want to know?" Hesitating and looking at each other, Mummy said, "Would you like to be my daughter and Aunt Shirley's niece full-time?" It would mean dressing and acting as a girl full-time, having to wear dresses not trousers, panties not pants and a bra full-time, as well as all the rest of wearing girls' clothes and sanitary towels. It would also mean changing from a boys' school to a girls' school and learning to be accepted as a girl until you were old enough to become a real girl in every way. I looked at them and started crying. Yes, I would love that. To become your daughter and your niece would make me the happiest girl I know. Thank you so much for being so understanding and helping me find out who I really am. Thank you so much again. Then we all hugged each other and cried. P.S. That was 4 years ago tomorrow. I have now had the operation and am now a proper girl. I still live with my mummy and auntie, but I have a job as a personal secretary to this really cute boss, John. We seem to get on really well and he has asked me out to dinner. Of course I accepted, and I am now just waiting for him to pick me up. Here's hoping.